Okay. Hi, everybody. People every now and then ask me some of the things that I do with Reaper because I do kind of come up with some fun, different ideas of how to do stuff. And today I had a fun one come up, which is that Audible just sent me some punches for one of the most recent books that I did. So I thought I would show you some kind of fun tricks that I'd come up with. So what Audible sent me was, first off, a set of PDF files. They've got the PDFs with just the highlighted things that I said wrong, and then, of course, a page of notes here that's got what I did and all the information about them there. But they've also sent me the reference audio files. Now, these are, of course, so that I can hear how I said something the first time and say it properly the second time when I fix it. Now, each of these files is just that section that you saw sort of highlighted in the text. And there's a couple of ways I could work with this. I could take each of these files and I could play them one at a time. And I could then go over into Reaper and I could record, and then I could bop back and I could listen to the next one over here, and then I could go back to Reaper and I could record, and I could make one long file. But there's an alternative way that you can use to take advantage of some of the things that Reaper can do for you. So here is a basic initial Reaper project. I've got one track that drops in automatically, and I've got some high-pass filters and a few things going, so I always like to reserve this track for me recording my fixes. So what I'm going to do is down here in the blank space, double-click. That'll create a new track, and that track is kind of clean and blank. Now, you can import or insert audio files directly into Reaper. So that's one of the things that makes this great. It's here under the Insert menu, or you can press the Insert key on your keyboard. So I'm going to go back to the start of the file. That's a W to take your cursor all the way back to the beginning. I'm going to insert media file, and I've got all these media files that I pulled in. Now, because this is multi-select on Windows and Mac works pretty similarly, I'm going to select the first one, scroll all the way to the bottom, shift and select the last one. Now it's pulled all of them in here, and I'm just going to say open. Now Reaper's going to want to ask me, okay, do you mean on separate tracks, like 53 different tracks, or all on the single track? And I want them all on the same track. I want them one after another, all on this track. So I'm going to say single track, and it's going to bring them in and build it up. Now if I zoom out, you'll see that we've got all this info here, and these are all different files, and they're all stuck in here the way I want them to. And you notice that each of these pieces has been named based on what that file name was. So this is number 50, page 180, TB, I think, is actually the initials of the editor that I'm working with. And they're all here in order that they were in the alpha order of the name of the file itself. So this is great. Now I've got these. I can play the references to them. And glaring at her because I'm going to be able to hear what I did, and I'm going to be able to record them next to it. Now I find this really handy because what I can do is just work in this track up here and listen to references down here. So when I don't want to hear what's going on down here, I just solo this track out. This track goes into mute. I can record, and you hear there's nothing playing there. But if I turn the solo off, all of a sudden, it's back again. Now, one of the things that I want to do to make this easy to work with is I want to be able to get between these intersections really easily. And I'm going to do that by putting in markers between each of these pieces. Now, I could do this manually. I could hit M and put a marker here. I could put a marker there, put a marker there. But that's going to take a while. And so what I'm going to do is use one of the automation features that Reaper has. So you've got your actions list up here. Under your actions, you can see all your recent actions. And you can also see the action list itself, where you can see all of the actions. Now, one of the things that you can do are make custom actions. Now, this custom action that I made was just called punch mark. I made this a couple of minutes ago. And it's got two items in it. Item navigation, select, and move to the next item. And what that does is going to say each one of these little buggers back here is going to hit it and then pop to the next one. And then it's going to insert a marker at the current position. Okay, so I'm going to sort of slide this off so we can see how that's going to go. When I hit run on this, it's going to go boop and make a marker. Marker, 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 marker. You can run this in a loop if you want. You can build a loop test, but it also doesn't just take that long to run. I've got like 52 punches in this hour-long piece, so it doesn't take a huge amount of time just to put them in there. I like to put one at the end, just because. So now that I've got my markers in place, that makes it really handy because I can tab between markers. Now your right and left bracket keys, which are right next to the P key on your keyboard, tab between markers and selections. So bump, 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 left and right. So what this means is I can start at this first marker, I can record my new piece, and I can make sure that it's staying in the same time length. I can say, okay, this is how long that piece was. I'm going to record the same text, and I'd like to keep it in roughly the same time. Now, I've already done these, so I'm not going to do this live. What I am going to do is grab this one here, which is that same piece, and just paste it. So you'll see that what I did is, this matches up kind of, but I've kept it the same length. And then the handy thing about this is if I ran over a little bit, let's say I just ran a little bit long, I don't want to start the next piece here because it's going to throw me off. So all you have to do is go here, right, select this item, hit the right bracket to get to your next marker, hit S to split it, and then delete that little tail piece. And now you're all ready here. So you can just keep on going through the list. So I can just bash through each piece. That's a short one. There's a long one. And when I'm done, I'm just going to be lazy here and hop over and grab all of these. When I'm done, I'll have the the old stuff with errors, the new stuff that's clean up here. Now here comes the next really kind of cool piece. So there's a feature that's going to allow us to do each one of these as separate pieces. This is also really great if you end up doing slides and audio for slides, and they're called regions. If any of you have listened or read Stephen J. Cohen's information about pulling character voice references, he uses regions for that. A marker marks a place in time. A region marks between places in time. So if you select, double-clicking up here, that's a great little feature to double-click in this band between the two markers. You'll select between them. Okay? You could create a region. That's just insert region. Or you can do Shift-R. Now you've got a region that names this. Okay? You can Shift, double-click on it, give it a name. That really was supposed to be Gump. There it is. Alt-click makes it go away. Does the same thing for markers. Now here's one of my favorite little tricks. Once again in the actions. To get this, you're going to need to have installed the Standing Water Studios S&M extension. Okay, go out and take a look at it. Throw them a little bit of money, sws-extension.org. It's an unbelievably useful extension. So you're going to need that installed. They have instructions for it. But in your actions list, there is create region. This second one here, SWS, Standing Water Studios, create regions from selected items, name by active take. Okay, so what that's going to do, I'm going to go down here. I'm going to highlight this to get all of these items. Right? Each of these is an item. Their name is going to become the name of the region. So click, run, boom. Okay, now what I've got are all of these regions that are named based off of the name of the file that I pulled in. So now what I can do is say, okay, solo this out because I don't want to hear this at all. And now let's go ahead and render. Okay, so you're going to file render, Control-Alt-R. You're going to bring up your render information. Now, the standard way that most people are going to see this come up is master mix, right? Everything together, entire project. Or you could do time selection or whatever you want. But project regions is going to take each and every one of these and render them as an individual file. And you get all these great wildcards to work with. Okay, so you can do item number, that'll do in order, that'll do a sequential item number. You can do region number, name count, the start time, the end time, the day of the month, and all this fantastic stuff. So what I'm going to do is say region, because I'd like it to give me that, 01, 02, 03, etc. It's already got the page number. And then I want it to say punch correction. All right, we're going to record it as wave, not FLAC. And I'm going to put it in, well, I guess it doesn't really matter. I'll put it sort of in the same place that I got these things out of. Audio. Okay, here we go. Hit render. It's fast to render waves, right? They don't require any processing. They're really quick. So bam, it's done. Now I want to show you what we've got, and that is over here. If I look up the CRX in my punches folder, boom, all of these things now, okay, they've got the same name that they had in the first place, so the editors can reference them easily. Here's the number, here's the page. They know it's a punch correction, and all it is just that file. Oh, you can't hear it because it's coming through my headphones. So it's just that file. It's just the corrections properly handled and ready to be rolled out. So it's a slick little technique, something that's fun, and something I thought people might be interested in. So take a look at it. Give it a try. If you run into any trouble, give me a shout on Facebook. Cheers.